Let's talk about the hits and misses for Jetburn. Jetburn releases next week, and I'm extremely excited. We have pre-release happening in just a few days. I think it's an incredible set. I think the art is amazing. It feels really good to open. The cards themselves are very strong. They're going to shake up the metagame, but that doesn't mean it's a perfect set. There's always things that could be improved on going forward. So today I've taken 5 main hits for the set and 5 main misses. I'm positive I didn't get everything. If you have any hits and misses that I didn't include here, definitely put them down in the comments because I would love to hear about them. The biggest hit of Jetburn is definitely simply the characters. Characters are what drive a set's value, in my opinion. And these characters are very, very popular selections. We're getting a new Midoriya, we're getting a new Bakugo, we're getting a new Todoroki, Toga, Ochako, Hawks. Very, very popular characters coming into the game with Jetburn or getting updated versions. And then the character art is incredible. I think this is one of the biggest benefits of the new card frame layout is just how full art the characters are. You can see here with Hawks going from edge to edge and top to bottom. And they're just, Asui and Ochako are both in like action shots here. These are 3 of my favorite character arts. And then the strength of the Jetburn characters. I don't know if there's an S tier character in Jetburn. I'm going to be doing a tier list here in just a few days, but I also don't think there are any bad characters in Jetburn. Maybe Dabi, maybe Kamui Woods, aren't quite up to the level of the other characters. But for the most part, everybody is definitely at least in the B tier or the A tier. I could see most of these characters topping an RLE or even winning an RLE. And I know a lot of other major players in the community believe that some of these characters could be S tier. So the characters drive the value of the set, and they were absolutely a home run for Jetburn. However, now we're coming to the miss, and we're going to stay with the characters. 16 out of 19 characters are 6-handers. We are getting 1 5-hander in the entire set, and my head here is covering it up, but it's Hood Nomu, and we're getting 2 7-handers, Best Jeanist and Kyokujiro. By the way, Best Jeanist, he just has the best art. I think this is the best looking character card. He's got the most swag, and yeah. But, okay, where was I? Oh yeah, 16 out of the 19 characters are 6-handers. Yeah, last set we saw, I think 12 out of 21 characters were 6-handers. I think set 1 had quite a bit of 5-handers and 7-handers. But here everything has kind of gone to the 6-handers, which I think is a real bummer because that's one of the biggest differentiators about this game is that different characters have different hand sizes, and that causes them to play fundamentally different game plans. So a big swing and a miss here. There are a few other things about the characters that I could include as a miss. I do feel like there's a little too many like characters that are just pure stats, like Todoroki 4, Mount Lady 2, Edge Shot, who's somebody else that just goes Endeavor 3. Like they just give speed and damage, and they feel a little too stat focused and not, enough like for example, Kyokujiro is playing a very unique game plan. Best Jeanist is playing a unique game plan. But I feel like a lot of the 6-handers are a little boring and they're being designed a little safe. All right, my next hit, let's jump into the art of the cards. I love the XRs of this set. This was from Universus Academy. Chris posted this on Discord, and this is an incredible looking card. If you go watch my box opening, I opened quite a few XRs. They are just stunning to look at. They knocked it out of the park with that. We have Chrome Rares coming back. I love the art of the Chrome Rares. The Chrome Rares are characters again, which I think are much, much better than the attacks. I think we can see that with Chrome Rare values. It feels like the value of the Heroes Clash character Chrome Rares are much, much higher than the attack Chrome Rares from Undaunted Raid. Now, it's still incredible to open a Chrome, and they're still going to fetch, a pretty high cost. But I think characters is really where it's at with Chromes. And then the alt art cards. I really hope this is something that they continue going forward with. We get 17 different characters from past sets that are included in Jetburn with alternate art, and they feel incredible to open. So on average, you're getting like 1 or 2 of these in every box of Jetburn. I got, in my unboxing video, I got a Momo 2 and a Mirio Togata, and I was like blown away when I opened the Mirio. You can go watch that moment in my unboxing video. I think it's like 8 minutes in, but I was legitimately like super, super happy, but I didn't know quite how to show my emotions because I was being filmed. Anyway, big hit for this set is the art. All right, a miss is the misprints and images that are too dark. So for Toga, this is something I noticed when I was opening my Toga. I just took a picture of both these cards. These are not high quality images for myself, but it says after your attack deals damage, you may add 1 card from your discard pile, 2 from your momentum. You know, 2 from your momentum when it should just say to your momentum. And having a error like this on your starter deck character is just not a good look in my opinion. Also, we get cards like More Power. It's missing its block modifier. It's supposed to be a 2 mid block. Now, most of the other misprints, they were all really, really small. They weren't big deals. They were either like characters missing their version, or they were like just missing reminder text. So most of the misprints are no big deal. I think it's just, but they're really simple to catch, you know? You should just have 1 case printed, open the case, and, you know, look at the cards. Like, it feels like the quality control on that should be pretty easy, and it's a bummer to me that it's missed. And, you know, new players opening More Power and not seeing the block mod, that is going to come up in a lot of releases. And then you're going to have to say, no, that's a two mid block, but then they're going to be giving away the card in their hand when they ask the question about it. I just think quality control could definitely be improved going forward. This is not as bad as Undaunted Raid, where we had entire cases missing like 30 of the commons and uncommons. My case that I opened was one of those. Luckily, I had a friend whose case was fine, and he, you know, gave me play sets of all of the cards I needed. But quality control definitely needs to go up a little bit. Also, on the art, I don't like it when attacks or foundations have too dark of art, because then it's very hard to tell what the attack is, like over webcam, or even just when you're playing in person, it gets pretty hard to tell. I like things to be bright. I like things to be vibrant. That way I can very quickly distinguish what a card is when I look across the table. And so these cards are just not it for me. There were quite a few cards like this in League of Villains as well, where the art was just way too dark for my liking, especially with like Twice's kit. I think it was just because it was a villain focused kit, and it was focused on that like that arc where they're in the forest and Deku fights Muscular. But this is just a personal thing that I don't like. It's not a big deal, but I don't like it when the art is this dark. Okay, a hit is the new simplifying text on the cards. So I've got 3 different examples here. On Inasa, he says destroy 1 foundation, refresh 1, which means ready 1 foundations that's not been readied. So we get refresh coming into the game. On Ultra Regeneration, we have tenacious, which means playable while committed. And then on this Endeavor attack, we get mill 1, which means discard the top card of your deck. So we see refresh, tenacious, and mill all enter the game. And I am always, you know, I am here for simplicity. I think mill 1 sounds much, much better to a new player than discard 1. I was very confused when I learned that effects that said if you've discarded a card, this enhanced step didn't count, like milling, for example, because it's not obvious when all the cards say discard that when something like that says if a card's been discarded this enhanced step, that it always means it's looking from your hand. Sorry guys, I'm having trouble talking today, but that's okay. Yeah, I think that's going to simplify things. I think mill is going to be really nice for new players and keep that differentiation between discard and mill done well. All right, a miss coming in is character traits. And this is kind of surprising to me because I thought I was going to like character traits. But the more I've been playing with the Jetburn cards, the more I've been deck building, I find myself really getting annoyed by character traits. I'm going to be honest here. Like, snap out of it being a student first enhance bothers me. You know, this would be great in like Earth Overhaul. Just can't use it. Um, Chivalrous Thief having this villain form, so then you could, you can't play them on most of the characters in these symbols. Explosive Rebuke having a 1A enhance. Flip 1 Foundation, this attack is +1 to its keyword raise. I just don't think this was necessarily needed. I felt like we already had enough differentiation in the design. Like this just feels like you're handcuffing cards even more, and I like it personally when cards are playable by a wide number of players. But there's also a bigger reason here that I don't like character traits, and it's the fact that we are adding Yu Yu Hakusho, we're adding Cowboy Bebop, we're adding Trigun Stampede, we're adding Attack on Titan, we're adding Godzilla, we're adding in all of these new IPs, and the key character traits are just all over the place, and they're very, very specific. We're getting character traits like 1A, or like Student, or like Lurkers. I think I maybe would be okay with character traits if there was only like 10 of them, like Villain, Hero, Bold. I don't know what they would be. But if there were like 10 of them, because when you have all of these like crazy character traits that are very specific to the show, it's going to make mixing IPs not as nice and not as friendly. And the whole point of the game is to be playing with cards from all sorts of IPs. Well, that's not the whole point of the game. I mean, going forward, that's going to be a big part of the game. So I hope that the design for character traits changes going forward. I find myself, when I'm actually deck building, being much, much more annoyed at these than actually liking them. All right, a hit is focusing on non-punch keywords. The punch keyword has been the strongest keyword in the game for a while now. We see most of the best decks playing punch lineups. If we just think back to Nationals, we had Void Eraserhead running punches. They were running Jab, Rejuvenating, Repeated. We had Life Overhaul. He wasn't running, most overhaul lists aren't running mono punches, but they are very punch focused. We're still getting Repeated. We're getting Back Alley Haymaker. We're getting not focused attack, focus punch, focus. You guys know the one I'm talking about. It's the really slow mid one that draws you a card for every single one of it in the card pool. For some reason, my brain is just totally blanking out on me tonight. I think it might be because I've been up since 4 a.m. But, that's just a thought. Anyway, we see Mirio, of course, being really strong with punches. It just feels like all the best decks in the game right now are focused on the punch keyword. All the best cards have been printed with punches. Rejuvenating, Repeated were, to me, hands down, the best attacks that came out of Undaunted Raid. And in this set, Jetburn, we're only getting 3 punch attacks, and most of them really aren't that powerful. Instead, we're focusing on the charge keyword. I think it's like 30 new attacks. So the charge might be giving punch a run for its money as best keyword right now. Falling Skies is just an insane attack. We're getting ranged. I think we're getting like 20 plus ranged attacks. I think we're getting almost 20 new weapon attacks. Of course, most of that is coming from Toga's starter deck kit. The Fury keyword is getting quite a bit. Even the Slam keyword is getting quite a bit of love with Frog Hop coming in on Slam. And I think there was like 10 slams. So Slam got triple the cards as the punch keyword this set. Very, very nice to see keywords getting expanded and the other keywords kind of catching up to punch's level. Now, keywords are still kind of, you still have your greats and your not so greats. Like charge, fury, ranged, punch are still heads and shoulders above the other keywords, for example. All right, a miss. We're only getting 1 echo attack and 0 terrain assets. And I think these are really fun design spaces, and they're just not getting explored in Jetburn. We saw Echo come out mainly in League of Villains, where League of Villains had 5 Echo attacks. And then in Undaunted Raid, we only got 3 new Echo attacks. In Jetburn, we're only getting 2. The reason I'm saying 1 is because one of the Echo attacks in Jetburn is the haunting of Hitoshi Shinso, and it's a Shinso Echo. So nobody plays Shinso as a practical matter, so I'm not considering that an Echo attack. Pretty much we're only getting Velocity Rush, which I think is like a perfect example of what an echo attack should be. So there is that. Like it's a just 4 high 4 generic on a 4 diff. You're either going to get a speed or a damage to your next attack, and it has echo. And I think that's very, very strong. I would kind of like to see a similar echo attack across all the other symbols, just so all the symbols have access to something like this. And then terrain assets, we had Sports Festival Stadium come out in set 2, but they mainly came out with Heroes Clash, where we got 3 new terrains. And then I think we got like 2 terrains in League of Villains, and we got 1 terrain in Undaunted Raid. It was Twisty Surroundings, and we're getting 0 now. So one of the big, the main thing that separates a terrain from other assets is that there can only be 1 on the stage at any given time. So if your rival plays a terrain, then your terrain has to get discarded. Right now, that just doesn't happen because hardly anybody's running terrains. If we are they're not bad. Like Battle Arena sees play, UA High sees play, Twisty Surroundings sees a lot of play, but they're just not nearly common enough to where it feels like the main terrain thing isn't really happening. Like the fear that my rival is going to play a terrain and discard mine, that's just not a fear when I'm playing Twisty Surroundings. As a practical matter, I think of Twisty Surroundings basically just as an asset. It never crosses my mind that my rival is going to build a terrain and discard it. So the main reason for that is that we only have 7 terrains in the game, and we're not getting any new ones with Jetburn. So feels like a very underexplored design space at the moment. Oops. And as for play experience, I think this set is going to be great for sealed and draft. I think we're going to have a lot of fun at our pre-releases. They definitely improved the power level of just common and uncommon cards. Like Velocity Rush, for example, is just a common. This is going to be a huge attack in pre-release and sealed. Hell Spider is a attack that is statted like a 5 diff that gives all of your other attacks +1 speed, and it's a common. It might be the best attack coming out of Jetburn. And then I think Ryukyu's kit is going to be really good for sealed, just overstatted cards with solid block modifiers. It doesn't really matter that they're blank when you're playing sealed. And then we're getting a lot of just generic speed hate, like Return of the Kings. Although I suppose this isn't technically speed hate, but it pretty much is. We're getting solid 1 diff speed hate across all symbols. That's going to be really nice in sealed and draft. Rating cards like Glamour. So, and then we have a solid number of attacks that are like Powerful and EX. And so we have things to do with our momentum. I think it was a really nicely designed set around sealed and draft. So I'm really looking forward to pre-release here in a few days. Okay, continuing with like actually playing the game. A big miss is just that there's no regional license exams during Jetburn. In fact, there's no how do you say this? We are getting 2 webcam events. So we are getting 2 webcam events, but they're not they're official events, but you're really just playing for a travel voucher to go to the HLC. I guess RLEs this year didn't really matter a ton either. It's not, I guess you'd get like a 1-round bye at Nats, but placing well at RLEs wasn't getting you into Worlds or anything. But there's no regional licensing exams. We are getting those 2 webcam events. I'm very much looking forward to those. So that is a big hit, but no RLEs. So we're only going to have those 2 webcam events basically as official events. And then by the time the HLC rolls around, we're actually going to have the challenger decks that are legal. And there aren't any MHA only spotlight side events at the HLC, at least not that I saw. So the side events are standard. And then there's going to be one that's standard, but you have to play one of the challenger deck characters. So as for the Jetburn meta, it's really just going to be these 2 official events, and they're both webcam events where you're playing for travel vouchers to the HLC so that you can participate in LCQs. And that's going to do it for my hits and misses. Just to recap, from a play experience, a miss is no RLEs. A hit is the sealed and draft play experience. We're only getting 1 echo attack and 0 terrains. Focusing on non-punch keywords is nice. I don't like character traits, but I do like the simplifying text. I don't like the misprints and 2 dark images. I do like the art. I like the chromes. I like the alt arts. I don't like all the new 6-handers coming in, but I do like the character selections, the art, and the strength. And that is going to do it for that portion of the video. I'm going to go on a little more and just talk about all the latest news. Also, we had all the Plus Ultra promos revealed today. I'm going to give some instant reactions there. I'm not going to do like official grades or anything, but I did put all 12 of them here on this presentation. But speaking of the no regional license exams, but the 2 webcam events that we're getting, let's just jump into it and talk about those. I have a lot of news to catch up on. I'm not going to make a separate video. I'm not going to make this real long, but I thought I would mention it. These new webcam events, we are getting these 3 promos that were not included at Nats. You know, people who were eagle-eyed noticed that there were 3 numbers missing out of the 15 at the bottom. And so these 3 are them. We're getting Cool and Tough, Giant Ice Wall, and Proud Skion. Very, very neat there. And you are going to get these by participating in these 2 webcam events, one on December 2nd and one on January 6th. And the big deal here is that the champion is going to get a $500 travel voucher. And then it says at the bottom that the travel voucher will consist of a gift card that may be used for travel or lodging for any future event. I think this is going to be awesome. And second place gets a $250 travel voucher, and then you're getting 3 of each promo, and you're also getting a few boxes. I think these are a big deal. I think these are going to reach 200 players. You know, we had 400 plus players at Nats. I think our player base is growing exponentially right now. We just don't really see it because there's not a lot of events going on at the moment. I think these 2 events will show that. I think both of them are going to reach 200 plus players. They're going to be a ton of fun to play in. I'm definitely going to be playing in the January one. I'm hoping to play in the December 2nd event as well. Speaking of events, in my last video on Monday, I announced the Winter Clash on December 16th, where myself and Tam Cardwell are going to be joining for the commentary, and we're giving away a ton of really neat prizes. For every person that joins, $10 is going into the prize pool. We're throwing in 2 cases of Jetburn and these custom Let's Talk UVS Christmas holiday playmats. We have already sold 25 of the seats, so it's going to be an absolute blast. You can see we have a solid lineup of players already. I'm hoping for it to hit at least 100 players, but we'll just see. Sorry about that. My doorbell just went off. The next major news item was the ban and errata update yesterday, which is really a nothing burger because nothing was announced. Now, this is personally, I'm really disappointed in this. I thought that Capture Evildoers and Maximum Overhaul were just layups to get banned. You know, Overhaul is far and away the character that did the best at all 3 Nationals events. Earth Overhaul had the most players make worlds because of it, and the most players top cut. It had 11 top cuts. Every single list was running 3 or 4x Maximum Overhaul. Even the Life list that won US Nats was running 4x Max Overhaul. The Evil lists run Maximum Overhaul. It felt like the easiest place to start. Like, obviously, Overhaul needs to be tuned down. And the best place to start is probably just with, basically that Overhaul only attack and just banning that before you actually errata the character. He would still be very, very strong, of course, but just take him down a little bit. And then Capture Evildoers. It would take away a lot of the turn 2 aggro, and especially with Ryukyu coming in, and of course the Mirio deck that I ran at Nats, Capture Evildoers just enables these really aggressive turn 2 attack lines that probably shouldn't be allowed, especially if Momentum is going to continue to be such a free resource with cards like Rejuvenating and Phantom Threat, and now Ryukyu as a character just giving it to you on her face. So if Momentum's going to continue to be free, then we probably should ban Capture Evildoers. Also, the stealing Momentum thing is format warping and just not very fun from the game, which they say matters, right? They say play experience matters. I don't think any Mr. Compressed player tells you that they have a good time when they face Capture Evildoers. So I thought those were 2 layups. I also thought some life cards should have been hit, like Release, Passing the Torch, New Training Method, just something along there to kind of tone down the consistency of the life symbol defense just a tad. But I was a little disappointed. I understand it. I'm not like mad or anything. It's just a little disappointing. Um, let's jump into Attack on Titan. This is maybe my favorite anime of all time. Probably Haikyuu is my absolute favorite. I would be over the moon if that got added in. Although Kodansha, the publishing house that they're pairing up with here, does do Blue Lock, one of my other favorite sports animes. I would love to see Blue Lock come in. I think they could do some really cool challenger decks with Blue Lock. But Attack on Titan, I'm very, very excited for this. So now I think we know like the three sets coming out next year are going to be Yu Yu Hakusho, My Hero Academia, and Attack on Titan. And then we're getting challenger decks for Trigun Stampede, Cowboy Bebop, and Godzilla. 2024 is shaping up to be a huge year. I think the growth of this game is about to skyrocket, and I feel really lucky that I got into this game when I did. Because we are all going to be better for all these IPs coming in. And Attack on Titan is going to bring in a lot of new players. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the difference between a Jean character and a Connie character is necessarily from a design standpoint. I suppose you do like their personalities, or like a Sasha, whereas My Hero Academia is very obvious based on their quirk, is their abilities. And that just makes design really easy and then really makes you feel like you're playing the character. I'm sure they're going to figure it out. I love Attack on Titan. I just watched the finale. I watched the finale just a few hours after it came out. We were having some trouble with Crunchyroll, I think because so many people were trying to watch it at the same time. I'm not going to say I understood 100% of what was going on or even 75% of what was going on. It got really into like deep lore and geopolitical things like at the end. And there's always like that translation of going from Japanese to English, and are the subtitles correctly translating? Like maybe it's a simple concept in Japanese, but I'm not sure the subtitles are, wording it quite the right way to where it's obvious. But I loved the finale of Attack on Titan. I think it's going to go down as one of my favorite all-time series. Very, very, very excited for this to be coming into Universus. Let's see. We had the Jetburn printing. I've already talked a little bit about the misprints. And we have the Hero League Championship, which I am, over the moon about. Next February, I get to be one of the 32 players playing for the World Championship, and I'm going to be playtesting like crazy for this event. So they released the pricing, and I really like the pricing. Now, we knew it wasn't going to be cash. Obviously, the pricing is not $250,000. Of course, from a personal standpoint, I would have rather played in last year's event compared to this year's. But it's about as good as it can get for not being cash, and I'm still really excited. A Chrome Rare, okay, so you start out with just your Ochako promo, and then as you go up, you also add in the other promos, and then the top 16, once you get there, you're going to get a custom Chrome Rare. Now, this is incredible. What this basically tells me, honestly, my plan was do really well at Nationals, get into Worlds, and then at Worlds just play a fun deck. But with the Chrome Rares only going to the top 16 and not to all top 32 players, this is telling me I do not get to just play a fun deck. I need to play a deck that can absolutely win the event, because I don't want to miss out on these Chrome Rares. And I especially want to go up and get this 1/1 champion Midoriya Chrome Rare. But that's not all. The prize for the winner, I think, is the coolest prize that you could possibly have, which is you get to design a card. Well, you don't get to necessarily fully design it, but you get to work with the design team to design the card. It says invitation to design a custom Universus card with the UVS Games design team. And this is incredible to me. I know in the past, world champions would get their own character card, and this is just a huge draw. I absolutely want to win this. And I think that's the biggest prize of all of them. So I definitely want to get top 16 to go and get that Chrome Rare. And then once you're in top 16, you want to win it all so that you can design your own card. Also, we're getting these really neat deck boxes, and these are going to be for everybody. Other participation pricing, of course, getting travel paid for, getting like these UVS Games jersey, which is going to be pretty interesting. a UVS branded bag. And then the side events all have, oh, yeah, and travel paid for. And I'm going to be coming a week early to go to Disney World with my family. So, I mean, next year, this week and a half is going to be like the best week and a half of my life. Going to Disney World with my family for a week and then finishing it out with the world championship of my favorite card game. It's just going to be an incredible time. Side event pricing is pretty solid as well. You're getting these, let's see here. You're getting your choice of a colossal card if you get first place at one of the specialty side events. You're also getting 2 Jetburn booster boxes, a Red Vines jar, which is fun. You're getting a deck box. You're getting MHA sleeves. Have we seen the MHA sleeves? I don't think we've seen the MHA sleeves. In fact, that's the first time I've even read that. But, oh, and second place gets a colossal card. So that's a huge draw to me to come and grab a colossal card. Also, in the other events, like the just on-demand side events, first place is getting a booster box. That's awesome. And then triple threat, you're getting a premium UVS Games deck box for every person who wins triple threat. The person who wins the most triple threats is getting, where does it say? The player that can score the most triple threat knockouts throughout the weekend will earn a unique prize, a custom Universes triple threat champion belt. That's awesome. And we don't see what it looks like yet, but I am going to want that. So for HLC pricing, I'm very, very excited. Is it worth it to go if you're not one of the HLC contenders? And I think, yes, you should probably go. Now, is it going to be worth it? Probably not. It's not like a major event. You know, you're not going to be playing this 10-round event. The last chance qualifier, the way it's set up is it's a one-day event with like 200 players. So they just can't do top cuts, which is going to make it very, very cutthroat. Basically a single loss and you're not going to be able to have a chance at qualifying for top 4. So there's a chance you come all the way to Florida, you play one game in the last chance qualifier, you just, your opponent high rolls you, is playing some aggro deck, and they just kill you on turn 2, and then you say, well, that was it. There goes my chance at playing in the HLC. And so from that perspective, that's going to be a bummer. However, last year there was no last chance qualifier. We had the world premiere of League of Villains, which was really nice, but we didn't have a last chance qualifier. All things considered, I would much rather have a last chance qualifier and at least a chance at playing in the HLC. So I still think that this year is better than last year. I'd much rather have an LCQ as compared to a world premiere. The side events are still going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of Universes players there. You're going to be playing you're going to be playing Universes for 3 straight days, which to me sounds incredibly fun. You want to be where the action is, and I think you're going to want to go. I went to last year's HLC, even though I wasn't one of the HLC participants. I played in all of the side events. I didn't go with any friends or anything. It was just me. Well, it was me and my wife, but me, my wife, and my wife's mom, actually. Her mom was like celebrating her 60th birthday. So her and her mom went off and had fun in Vegas while I went to the HLC. I still had a blast, made a lot of new friends. It was a lot of fun, like watching the HLC with everybody. They had this big screen set up and you could sit in these chairs. And, when Kevin won and he entered into the main room, everybody was clapping and going crazy. It was just a really cool moment to be a part of. And I'm very, very happy that I went to this last year's HLC. And I told myself at that event, I am going to be here next year. And so now this year I get to be there as one of the main players. I'm very, very excited. If you can only afford to go to 1 or 2 events during the year, you could probably skip this one and then go attend, major RLE and nationals and things. But if you have the means and if you have the time off, I think it's worth it to go to the HLC and just be where the action is. So that's my 2 cents around that. If you can swing it, absolutely go for it. You're not going to regret it. And I think that is all for the recent news. So let's talk about some of these Plus Ultra cards. We have 12 new cards coming in, and I saw them for a little bit before Wednesday Weekly Webcam, but I haven't really read them thoroughly. I'm not going to be giving like maybe I will give my snap grades. Yeah, I'll just give my snap grades on the spot. So these are, these are not going to be thoroughly vetted opinions. I've hardly read these cards. I have not considered how I'm going to build them whatsoever until now. All right. Let's see. 4-def attack, the Lurker Strike. 3 low, 4, 2 high block on 4 different symbols. That looks like all the symbols of the Lurkers. Has Lurker's Breaker 1, ally. For each card you have reviewed this turn, do the following. An action, draw a card. An asset, remove 2 cards from a rival's discard pile. An attack, your rival discards a card. Character, build a card with a check value 6 from your discard pile. Foundation, build the next foundation you play this turn. Okay, those are very, very strong abilities, and you're probably going to be picking 2 or 3 of them, and it's on a 4-def. A 3 low 4 is fine stats-wise. That's, it's not great, but it's also not bad. It's also just, has Breaker 1 for the heck of it. Now, most of the time, you're just going to be reviewing foundations, right? Because you're going to be reviewing foundations and trying to draw attacks. So I suppose if you review foundations, the ability is build the next foundation you play this turn. Okay, because most of the time you're probably not going to be reviewing like characters and assets just because you're not going to have them in your hand. So as a practical matter, with an action, you get to draw a card. That's probably the most powerful one. If you review a few actions, you get to draw 2 cards. An attack, your rival discards 1 card. Oh, you don't get to do it multiple times, right? For each card type, do the following. Okay, so even if you reviewed 2 actions, you're not getting to draw 2 cards. It's just for each card type. Okay, so you would draw a card. You can make your rival discard a card. I think it's interesting. I'm not sure it's going to see like massive play in the Lurker. Obviously, this is basically a Lurkers only card. You're not playing this in anybody else. As for like how much play it actually sees, I think it will see some, but I don't think it's an immediate like 4x. Let's say B tier. All right, I probably spent too long on that. 3 difficulty, citywide tensions, 3 high block. Villain form, unique. Destroy, remove the top card of your deck. And that's a cost. Okay. Destroy 1 rival foundation or asset with a difficulty of X or less. X equals the difficulty of the removed card. Okay, so if you remove an attack, you're basically getting to destroy anything in your rival stage, right? If you remove a foundation, then you're getting to destroy something weaker on their stage. I'm going to put this in the C tier because you're destroying this asset, right? So you're destroying this asset. You're building a 3-def, which is a pretty high deck building cost, and then you're going to destroy it. And there's a chance all you get to do is destroy a 0-def in your rival stage or destroy a 1-def. There's a chance this ends up like backfiring on you and it doesn't have a good block either. I'm not a big fan. I'm going to say C tier. All right, 4 difficulty, turn it up. 5 mid for 2 low block, charge ranged. Both players mill 1. If your rival did not mill an attack, this ability may be played again this enhanced step. All right. Enhance. This ability gets plus X damage. X equals the block modifier of the top card of either player's discard pile. So that means you get to choose, right? You're not adding them together. Yeah, you get to choose. And so I guess the nice part is you get to play this top enhance, potentially 2 or 3 times. So you're getting to pick the best block modifier for the bottom enhance. Most of the time, you're probably giving it 3 damage. So it's going to be a 5 mid for 5. Solid stats for a 4-def. I'm not sure the top enhance is really doing anything else. So I think you got like B tier stats, C tier effects. It's got a fine block, probably like C plus tier. 3 difficulty foundation, fan favorite. Pro hero enhance, remove, build 1 foundation from your discard pile. Okay. Deadlock enhance, flip, add 1 attack from your discard pile to your hand. All right, deadlock is very good, but we are really concerned about that top line. Remove, build 1 foundation from your discard pile. Now it does check a 4 and it is a 3 mid block. So it has both of those going against it. But this is effectively just 4 more copies of whatever foundation you really need for your combo. Like if I'm Mirio, for example, It doesn't say build one non-unique foundation. So I'm immediately thinking, okay, I can run four Lemillion of the Big Three and then a couple fan favorites and then just build in that Lemillion of the Big Three. And this basically is guaranteeing that it'll always have that foundation. Or like if you're Ryukyu, you could, what's her big foundation? Like Vast Strength, I think is what it is. You could just build it in. But it is a 3 diff. It does check a 4. So is it really worth it to build this 3 difficulty foundation so that you can remove it to build a 2 difficulty foundation? I suppose it is if you're really wanting that foundation. I'll say B tier. Somebody's going to break it. Someone's going to make it A tier. 2 diff, he's still fighting, 2 low block. Enhance, remove. If you have 10 or less health, the next attack you try to play ignores progressive difficulty. Okay, so it ignores progressive difficulty, but you're removing it. So you're basically giving it +1 to its progressive, right? So if you had 3 cards in your card pool and then if you had 4 attacks in your card pool and you're going for another attack, you're basically getting +3 to your check as a one-time thing. Sorry, that's just how my brain thinks. That's how, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, actually. It checks a 5. It's a nice 2 low block, fire, life, and order. I can see it finding play. Let's say B plus or A minus. What is a symbol? Pro Hero Breaker 1. We're on 4 different symbols here. 2 def, 3 high block. Once per turn, remove 2 foundations from your discard pile. This attack is +2 or -2 damage. So this is basically like Manly Friendship, except better, because Manly Friendship's a 1 def and this is a 2 def. And it's on the good symbol. I'm already going to, I'm thinking about this in my Mirio deck again. Like, hey, another way to get damage for Phantom Threat, another way to reduce damage on Twisting Azure Inferno. I can see this finding play. It's probably not incredible. It's a once per turn. It's a 3 high block. I'll put it in the B tier. I can see it finding play. So Manly Friendship is a 1 diff that says +1 or -1. This is a 2 diff that says +2 or -2. Yeah, I like it. It's fine. Hacker Extraordinaire. 2 def, 4 high block, 4 check. It's going to be crazy when you see a 4 check, and a 4 block modifier. Okay, commit. After you take 5 or more damage, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. See, this is what I'm talking about with momentum and Capture Evildoers. Again, we're on a Capture Evildoers symbol on this card. It's on the all symbol. We're getting all these cards that are saying momentum is free. And then a lot of cards have this discard 1 momentum cost because that's going to be an incredible ability. And so typically you want those abilities to only be playable turn 3 and beyond. Turn 1, you want to be like building. Turn 2, you're starting to play some attacks. Maybe you get some momentum, and then turn 3, you can start to use that momentum. And then like turn 4 and 5, maybe your deadlock's on board. So as the game goes, you're starting to unlock more and more abilities and get better and better. But cards like this, you're just getting free momentum. Like if you're going second, you can just allow yourself to get hit, commit this, and grab a momentum. But I mean, that itself, it's not like broken. It's not like broken. I'm just saying that like in general, we're getting all these like free momentum things. I guess it's not free. You have to get punched in the face. Okay, once per turn, Tenacious. Discard 1 momentum. Okay, draw 1 card. You may flip 1 rival asset. Okay, so you're discarding momentum to draw. That reminds me of Bloody Val, except this is a 2 diff. But flipping a rival asset. Sometimes that's going to be incredible, and sometimes your opponent's just not playing assets. I'm going to say B plus tier, A minus tier. Maybe this is an A minus. Is this an A? I could see it being like sideboarded in. Well, I mean, the top response, like if you're a deck that wants momentum, this is just another way for like All Might True Form to get his momentum. He already had Cremation. He already had Capture Evildoers. Now he's getting Hacker Extraordinaire as another way just to turn on Detroit Smash on turn 2. Yeah, I can see it finding play. All right, 2 def, Loss of Hope. 5 check, 3 low block, Tenacious. Destroy. After your rival plays their 3rd or greater block this turn, draw 2 cards. No more attacks can be played this turn. After your rival plays their 3rd. Okay. Hold on. After your rival plays their 3rd or greater block this turn, draw 2 cards. No more attacks can be played this turn. All right, that's really, really strong, getting to draw 2, and it keeps you out of deadlock. So if you were wanting to build something, but it is after your rival plays their 3rd or greater block this turn, so it's requiring you to play 3 attacks. Enhance, commit, flip. This attack is -3 damage. B tier. B tier. I thought it was going to be really, really strong because when I was first reading it, I was reading it as after your rival plays their 3rd or greater attack this turn, you could just destroy this and say no more attacks, which would just be insanely cracked. All right, our last 4 here. 2 diff, action, juvenile mayhem. Form, seal your next attack. If it's blocked, discard it and this card from the card pool. If it's not blocked, draw 2 cards. And we're on 5 different symbols here. If it's not blocked, draw 2 cards. So you're basically replacing the action and the attack, right? You're replacing both of those. If it is blocked, discard it and this card from your card pool. I'm not a big fan of when your rival gets to choose what happens. I like to choose what happens. And so I think that's going to hold this back. It's an action. It's always going to be fighting with other actions on these symbols. C+ tier, B-. I'm sure somebody's going to be doing some fun things with it. I just don't really see how this is going to rise above locals level. Maybe I'm completely wrong here. Again, I'm giving my very instant reactions. Mirko, 6, hand size, 27 health. If your fury or kick attack is the only attack in your card pool, it gets +1/+2. That's fine. 3 stats. It's kind of gated in if it's the only attack in your card pool. Okay, enhance once per turn. Flip 1 card in your card pool. Choose 1 player. The next check that player makes to play a card gets +2 or -2. Failing that check does not end the combat phase. Okay, so you can give yourself +2 or your rival -2. I think this character is interesting. I don't think this is a character that could probably top an RLE level event. But maybe actually, because you can use that on defense too, can't you? Flip 1 card in your card. If you play a block, you can flip it and then give, that's just breaker 2 on your rival. That's repeatable like every turn. Yeah, I like Mirko. Solid B tier. Solid B tier. Canine Tracker, 4 diff, 2 mid, 4. That's terrible. 3 mid block. That's terrible. Name a card. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. If the named card was revealed, add it to your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck. Okay, 4 cards is a lot, so you're getting a solid chance. But I guess like a good chunk of the time, that's just doing nothing. And then you're just playing this 2 mid, 4. C tier. Sand Tiger, 2 mid, 5 on a 5 diff. That's terrible. 4 low block. Holy cow, that's terrible. While this card is in your card pool, your checks to play attacks cannot be modified due to rival effects. That's fine. That's fine. I like that. It's not like crazy. I'm not going to go out of my way for that unless I'm playing like an evil symbol rival deck that's just doing all sorts of things to my checks. If this attack deals damage, both players add 1 card from their stage to their momentum. Okay, it's a 2 mid, and the enhance is gated. It has to deal damage. And then even if that enhance goes off, your rival is benefiting just as much as you. No, I hate this. I hate this. It's C tier. Both of these last 2 attacks are terrible. Just terrible. So we got a lot of really, really cool designed cards here. A lot of pretty strong ones. Fan favorite, the Lurker's Strike, Hacker Extraordinaire, he's still fighting, Loss of Hope, Mirko. I think to some extent those cards are probably going to be the best cards in this Plus Ultra kit. But I'm going to be excited to go out to locals and get these players. I know a lot of people are probably very, very excited to start playing a Mirko deck. Which, by the way, just takes me all the way back to the start of this video where I talked about the biggest hit of Jetburn was the character strengths, the character art, and the character popularity, and Mirko is no exception. Okay, this went way longer than I planned. It just kind of rambled on about the news here at the end. If you stuck around with me this far, thank you, and I am really looking forward to our major Winter Clash event on December 16th. We have 25 signups so far. If you haven't signed up yet, absolutely go and sign up. You are not going to want to miss that event.